Hello, everyone, and welcome to another episode of the Thinking Scrubs. I'm your host, Raymond, and with me today is our special guest, Peter. Say hi.
Hello.
And today we're going to have another episode of our famous faction orientation. In
Mm.
this series, we talk about um, different factions, their strengths, their weaknesses. So if you're a new player and you're thinking, what faction do I get into? So this
Rebels.
is a primer for that, and so that you know what this faction is all about. And today we're talking about the rebels, as
Yay!
Pete has mentioned.
Yay! Look at these
Okay,
guys.
so Pete, you've seen the previous episodes, right?
Yes, yes. I did watch. Nice episodes, Pao, Ellie.
And so yeah, I just have to say that this one's going to be the best one yet.
Oh yes, of course. No offense, but
No
I wasn't
offense.
sold on Scum and Resistance.
Don't tell the other people that. Maybe they were sold and said, "Hey, maybe I
Yes,
should
yes.
get
No, no,
into it
no.
now."
That's just me.
Okay, so but who is you? Who is Peter?
Oh, okay.
So and Peter is the name of our guest speaker today, who will talk about rebels with me.
Um,
And so Peter, why would should we listen to you?
Oh,
What
okay.
is your experience with X-wing and the rebels?
Okay. Well, X-Wing, I started in 1.0, right about I think wave two, and then I did stop till about 2017, was it? And then I picked it up on the tail end of 1.0 because my regular EDH group, apparently I found out while we were playing one time that they also played X-Wing. So that's Ellie and Dan. Dan doesn't play much anymore now though. So yeah, like I started getting back into it. I got Heroes of Resistance, then Dash. So I was playing Dash Pro toward the end of 1.0, and then once 2.0 came out, I've been playing pretty much exclusively Rebels. Uh, Although I do play some Jedi every now and then now. But I started playing Four Ship Rebels when it came out, and that's pretty much been my main squad since. Basically, Wedge and some Wedge plus three.
Okay. Yeah, as long as there's a wedge in there, I think that's the current meta anyway.
Yeah.
So, what is it about the rebels that, you know, um, drew you to them? So why the rebels? Now
Uh,
that we have 7 factions now, right?
yeah, that's
So
true.
many
That's
to choose,
true.
so many to choose from. Why the rebels?
Yeah, for sure. Well, uh, from a Star Wars movie perspective, I like their stories. I liked, obviously I like Luke's story. I like the first trilogy, and those are the characters that I resonated with the most. And then Rogue One, Star Wars Rebels, which I haven't finished yet, and yeah, yeah, I know. So much spoilers, by the way, playing this game. uh, Kanan's picture. I'm like, wait, why does he have a blindfold on? Yeah. So yeah, then um, yeah, I like the Rebels. I like how they play. Also, I like the X-wing. So um,
Okay.
uh,
So, as you know, recently in our recent World's Championship, our Rebel list took
oh
second
yeah,
place.
oh yeah.
So
So
we can definitely say that the Rebels are still very relevant in today's meta.
yes, thank God. What up? But yeah,
But it's
and
also
even if
thanks to FFG, they made the game very balanced.
for sure, one obviously we did have some points changes, but generally it's been pretty great. So yeah, and Rebels just from a lore perspective, right? I'll just get into their background.
Oh, sure.
Yeah, yeah. So you have their they're the main characters of the most recognizable trilogy, the most recognizable characters. You have Luke, then Legends favorite Dash Rendar, Ezra Bridger, and crew. Oh, wow. Okay, yeah. There's the look at that picture. I didn't even notice that the first time. That okay. Even yeah. So their X-wing, even the X-wing is probably the most iconic ship and synonymous with Star Wars.
Not the
Um,
Death Star.
no, no, that
Just
that
LT.
but that is a iconic weapon, I would say. This and the faction in the X-wing minis game, it's very accessible. It has simple mechanics, but it has a lot of variety, and they have, in terms of speaking more for the meta, they have efficient ships that just reward good play, just a lot of more experience. They're very
And
diverse. They have a lot of ships, being one of the OG factions.
true, true.
Yeah,
And do you think that most of your favorite characters are represented well in this game?
yeah, definitely.
You think they did
I
justice to Han, to Luke, to
As far as
Leia?
abilities, yes, absolutely. They are extremely powerful. I was just thinking about this. Um, Rebels just have strong abilities with very little drawback, and it's just simple. It's like, look, get a force when you get hit. It's very simple. Han, re-roll. There's no. It's not complicated, but they're very powerful.
So I guess for this faction background, it's very easy because they are basically they embody Star Wars. They need no introduction. You've seen them in the movies hundreds of times and the TV shows, and of course they're available in the game for whoever wants to play them.
It does feel nice playing as Luke in the X-wing and Han in the Falcon.
So if
And
you
you
ever,
play a lot
yeah,
of the Ghost.
oh yeah, definitely.
Yeah.
You have to represent.
Yeah.
For those who are not familiar, also, I'm also a Rebel player,
Yes. Yes.
and always has been ever since 1.0 as well.
Rebel Ace right here.
Yep. And why not play as the good guys since the good
Mhm.
guys always win?
Mhm. And they look the best. Look at them. Look at those
They,
cheekbones.
yeah, they get the best shots in the posters and stuff.
For real.
Okay, so moving into the strengths and weaknesses of the faction itself. Let's get a bit more technical into the game. We're just talking lore here, but
Mhm.
into the actual identity of the faction. So first, you mentioned that they were efficiently costed ships and pilots. Could
Yeah.
you elaborate more on that?
Um, without getting too much into the tournament scene, but in terms of the their strong ships don't cost a lot of points, basically. Simply. You would think that honestly they would cost more, and they could, but they just don't. At one point, Wedge was just 52 points, so that's a little over one fourth of this.
Yes,
So
and that makes actually is that would make him the cheapest, the cheapest six pilot in the game.
yeah, with a great ability, it's not even just the assist. Uh, Wedge lets you reduce your defender's attack dice, so that's just insane.
No, yeah, and as you mentioned, no drawbacks there. Just
Yeah, no
take
drawbacks.
it.
Very simple. Let's just reduce one by one dice. Okay. So yeah, um, and yeah, as far as the ships and pilots, I should have added crew also. Again, at one point Leia was 2 points. Leia basically makes all your reds blue for all
No,
your
not
ships.
blue, white.
What? White. Sorry. Yeah,
No
white.
worries, no worries.
Yeah.
So yeah, definitely, if you had like 6 ships or 8 ships, they would all K-turn with no penalties, still take their actions.
Yeah.
While your enemy is still trying to get position on you.
It's which I mean, it just ties into. We're gonna start talking about this here. Great standalone abilities. I mentioned Wedge, mentioned Luke, great defensive ability. They have a lot of um, they have a lot of those strong abilities in the X-wings even. That's there's Thane, who is not just has a great he can flip your opponent's damage cards, no drawback, just simply uh, trade a focus dice or a blank for that, and then uh, a blank, right?
Garvin,
Yeah, Garvin.
you pass
Uh,
around focuses
yeah,
just from using it.
yeah. I also I forgot to mention Thane's also I5, so that's 48 points for an I5. It's pretty good. Then yeah, Koran. He is not efficiently costed, unfortunately, but he is great. He is great. He shoots twice. Then Han, Nora, Blount, who was in that second place list. Blount is a
It's a
30-point ship.
yeah.
Yeah, 30-point ship that adds an attack dice if you have a friendly ship within range one of who you're attacking. So
Basically making him a mini X-wing at 30 points.
yes, yes. At some point, he could be shooting 4 or 5 dice, 3 regularly. It's not hard to enable that. Then, those are all, aside from Koran, those are all pretty nicely costed abilities and ships. Then, into excellent team support abilities, we mentioned Leia, who's amazing. A recent great performer is Cassian from Rogue One. He's in the U wing. He takes away stress from your friendly ships.
At the
Jake,
start of turn, yeah.
yes,
Great.
yes. Jake, also in that second place list, and you mentioned you've been using Jake a lot. He
Oh
passes around
yeah.
focus.
Yeah, basically I'm not with Jake. He's better than a coordinate ship because he has a potential to pass off 2 focus tokens.
Mhm.
And I don't think there's any ship in the game that can do that. Well, except maybe Jendon, I think. I'm not too sure about the other factions. But yeah.
Nice.
And he's only 36 points.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
So it's like a high it's the ceiling for the reward is so high and the buy-in is pretty low.
Yeah, he gets 3 evade dice too, so it's pretty. It's harder to one shot an A wing.
True.
So
Than compared to a TIE fighter, I guess. And
or an equivalent 4 health ship. I feel like just because of that extra evade dice. Obviously, statistically, right? It's
yeah,
math.
statistically.
So yeah, and then other bit Saul, who is he enables your team's offense. Dutch, also offensive, gives target blocks. Jan, Kyle, both in the Hawk, which I think is a great looking ship, by the way.
Yeah, I mean the and list goes on. There's Lando, there's
Lando,
of course Lando Calrissian.
Jin,
There's Evane from a Y wing. He gives he spends a focus to give a ship a additional defense die in a round, right?
yes, that's right. I was thinking then Horton, who is more standalone. But yeah, even Jin Urso.
Oh yeah, Jinzer.
Great.
2 points. The only ability that turns focuses to evade.
Yes, and there's a lot of synergy with rebels who like to give out focuses like it's candy.
Yes. So if I had like Jake was passing on focuses and a Jin
Yeah.
or so, I would make them effectively all have evades.
Yes. Jin is used in the 4U wing list with Perceptive Copilot. It's pretty gross. So you're getting you're getting U wings with evades. Yeah.
So
Fun.
definitely lots of interesting synergies there
Yeah.
with team support especially, and of course their main upgrade.
Yeah.
Let's not forget selfless.
Oh, yeah. It spreads damage around. Very nice. Again, in those lists. So yeah, diverse playstyles. You can basically put 4 defensive ships together and have make it not a fun time for your opponent, or you can have for offensive ships and do the same. So it's just basically pick and choose. There's synergies that you can play to, and they say that rebels tend to build like lists that fall apart once you lose one piece, but it's not. That's not really the case, honestly.
True.
There's lots of standalone ships.
Yeah, and I noticed there's not like a strict restriction on who can utilize these abilities. Like for example, Leia. At first they said it works. I mean, it does work really well with U-wings with their turnaround turret
Mhm.
style and the B-wings and their um one Talon roll, of course.
Yes.
But if you put that beside any of the other ships, it would still be just as good.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Um, I'm sure every ship would like to do red moves instead of two actions after. Yeah. Honestly, the only problem with Leia was that she was 2 points. You had to use her. It somewhat limited your options.
Yeah, 2 points is basically two crack shots, and
You had
you
to.
and you would use her more often than a crack shot, definitely.
Yeah, yeah. So yeah, and they're the good guys.
And yeah, the satisfaction of knowing you're fighting for the piece of the galaxy or something like that.
I think yeah, they're the better good guys too. Republic not so good at being good guys,
A lot of politics there, they're like,
and Resistance, it's carried by Podan.
yeah, if you can fit all your people inside the Millennium Falcon, you don't really have a lot.
Nice, nice, nice. Yes, yes.
No offense to the Resistance. I'm
Oh,
sure
no,
they're pretty good.
No, this is just us selling Rebels
Yes.
for this purposes of this video.
We're not saying they're bad, but Rebels are still
The
cool.
best. So
Okay.
we're
Too
gonna
much
go.
of the
We're gonna have to go into the cons, which I was forced to do. I have to admit, these are medyo pilit. So yeah, I'll just go right into it.
go ahead.
Based on before Worlds, at least, I would have said that we had um, limited ship options in terms of tournament lists. Not that the rest weren't good. It's just some were more efficiently costed than the rest. Like we were talking about Leia earlier. When some ships are just cheaper, you just use them and they work better, make better squads statistically.
Yeah, and I guess in the same way, like you said, the wedge as well. I mean,
Yeah.
if you had a wedge that was the cheapest i6 at 55 points with
Yeah.
a awesome ability, it's like there's no reason why he should never be there, right?
Mhm. Yes, absolutely. And like I said, that was before Worlds. So Worlds show the second place is a list I hadn't seen before, and Blount is amazing. I've used him before, but I don't use Jake a lot. Didn't think to split the 4 ships into 5 because Jake and the Bandit essentially cost 50 points. So they made one efficient ship into 2. Yeah. Complicated, I know.
Yeah, but that's pretty much like it's like a better TIE fighter.
Yeah.
And they start at initiative 2 at least, so actually they're definitely better than a TIE fighter. And
Bandits?
yeah, bandits.
Are they 2? Sorry, I thought they were 1. I'm thinking of
Sorry.
Banana Pirate. I think it's the Benair is 1. So you may be right. I'm not sure about Bandit.
Oh, great. Uh-oh. It's gonna look bad. Well, check it later, but...
I will.
but
Obviously,
okay.
I haven't used the Bandit squad, but like we were saying, they were limited, but it shows what we know, right? So that's why
Yes,
that guy got second place in codes.
I think that's the thing, because there are a huge amount of ships for the rebels right now, even since start of the start of second edition, and since some are so good that maybe some people don't consider
Yes.
the other the other ships, or you know, if how others are would fare in the meta, because you just definitely go for the one you think would win all the
Yeah.
time.
But again, this is strictly for tournament play, so I shouldn't have put this at the top because this is a faction overview for newbie, people who are coming into the game.
Yeah.
So more relevant would be number two, which some people do like to in other factions. We don't have a I6 small ship arc dodger. Very specific.
Very specific. Like,
Yeah.
who are some
We
examples
have
of these true for other
uh
factions?
other factions, Suntir, uh,
Frontier, Poe.
Vader,
Yeah.
Anakin in the Delta.
Okay.
Uh,
So basically, these
Poe, you
ships.
said Poe, yeah, you said Poe.
So basically, I6 ships that can do two actions in
Yeah,
turn.
double repositions and still be pretty good on offense. I mean, they have native double reposition.
Yes. True,
So
true.
that's
That's current weakness of this list. Oh, sorry,
mm,
of this faction.
yeah,
But um, I guess that's how they balance it out.
yeah.
That's why you have so many support ships that can help your I6 in this scenario get that reposition, even though you know. But
That's true.
actually, yeah, if you think about it, like
That's true.
if you think about it, like if you put a cheap, who's the cheapest coordinator, like an AP5
Five,
and a wedge,
32. Yeah,
you give him the double
yeah.
action, and that still be cheaper than an Anakin Skywalker in the Delta 7B.
Mm, 55
55
plus
plus
32.
80, yeah.
Yeah, yeah, you're right. And you can do that even when he's stressed because of AP5's ability, who is also a great ability.
That's
Um,
another support ability that's available for the rebels.
yeah, used to be 30 points. Hmm.
Oh
Yeah,
yeah, it's 32 points now.
yeah. And then our last weakness or con is we haven't had any new ships since launch, which is kind of the reason why I feel like a lot of people aren't playing it so much. It's just because there's a more hype on the other factions.
Well, definitely people like new things.
Yeah,
But
no fault in
doesn't
that.
doesn't but doesn't mean that the rebels um aren't getting new stuff. We do have the
Yeah.
new card packs coming
Yes.
out.
Yes. New B-Wing S4s.
And Leia and the Falcon.
Yes. And K2SO.
Yes. And another B-Wing pilot, I forgot her name.
Yes, another B-Wing pilot. Moon something. Was it? I don't know. Gina? Something.
What?
I don't remember. Was it G? I don't know.
Okay,
Something.
so yeah, definitely I think that's the what I admit that is a weakness of the faction, wherein because when they're building these new cards with these new ships, it's like they're building them together, so they're thinking like, okay, it would work well with this ship, but the past ships they're not really
Yes.
in mind when they build these new cards. So it's up to us, the players, to
Yes.
find out if we can come up with great interactions with these new stuff and the old and the current rebel faction.
Yeah, actually, that's not also that big a drawback for a new player coming in because there's a large pool of rebel ships already. So it's kind of like discovering. I mean, there's a lot to discover before you finish it all up. Like I don't even have to coast. Yeah.
Oh yeah, I don't even I probably haven't played all all the rebel ships available. Maybe
Yeah.
not even half.
So not a big drawback. Brilliant.
Yeah, I mean I'm sure even if you played all possible permutations of the rebels for the next year, you probably wouldn't finish them all.
No, I don't think. Yeah, I don't think so. Mathematically.
Yeah. I think rebels are the second biggest number of ships. Is it?
Man, I wouldn't know that statistic,
Okay, yeah,
but I wouldn't be surprised. I wouldn't be surprised.
true.
Scum maybe would be bigger. What do you think? I feel like Scum would have the most. That's my guess.
As in most number of ships, or
Most number of ships. I feel like ships, pilots. I don't know. Anyway, we're not talking about them right now.
yes,
Yes.
yes. We're talking about the rebels, which has
Yeah,
a good
yeah.
amount and
Yeah.
enough to sate anyone's appetite for diverse types of ships.
Definitely, definitely. That is a strength. It's listed on there on the list.
So now that we've discussed all the good stuff and
Yeah.
some minor, negligible drawback,
Yep.
I mean, for the sake of objectivity, we
Yes,
had to put that
absolutely.
there. Okay, so
So why would I? Why would I pick
yeah.
this? Why would I pick this question?
Yeah, talk to me as if I were a new player. So, Pete, I'm a new player. Help me. Why should I pick this faction?
Why does third voice rise? Anyway, so
I had to play. I'm playing a role here. I'm in character.
okay. So you would pick this faction obviously. From the perspective of the game, if you like having a variety of playstyles available to you, squads that can face most situations. A lot of people think that rebels are the teamwork faction who work best flying together, but this faction, has a lot of effective ships, and you don't necessarily need to be next to each other. So they're good together and apart. They can adjust depending on the opponent they're facing. Swarm or arc dodgers, or large ships, basically. So you can you have a lot of what is it? The word
Variety
flexibility. Yeah,
and flexibility. Okay, that's good.
and in game, you are able to definitely adjust. Just because the ships are so good and the abilities are good, that you do well against most opponents. They're also super fun to play. I think they have fun abilities like Koran who can shoot twice. Then even the E-wing that Koran flies is a great ship. Han Solo, really fun to play. Dash Rendar is my personal opinion the most fun to play because he ignores obstacles. So you don't play by one rule of X-wing, and you don't get damaged. You can shoot. It's uh, you're not affected by them.
Yeah,
Isn't
once again, another ship that has no drawback.
it's amazing. They reduce the drawback actually, right? They can shoot at range 1 now. Just worse, but still. they
Yeah,
can shoot
no.
now.
But yeah, its native is already 4. I mean,
Yeah.
that's a That's a basically an arc dodging turret.
Is it's a fun ship, just not efficiently busted, but fun ship. Yeah.
True.
And we're the best good guys. Just look at these guys. Look at them.
And yeah, and just to add to that, to the cost-effective ships, as that don't need much upgrades. We
No.
mentioned all the ships that we mentioned. We don't even need to put upgrades on them. Like even if you flew them as is, they'd still be equally good.
Yes.
You don't need to put shield upgrade that much. Even if you did or whatever,
Yeah.
they'd still
it's,
be good.
Most of the ship, since I run 4 ship rebels, generally my squads are very light on upgrades, but just great abilities. So yeah, wedge +3. um, there was one more thing. Even the second placer list had what? Crack shots and
That's
uh,
it.
I'm trying to pull it up here, but yeah, it wasn't a lot.
Yeah, so I think Wedge, Blount,
Yes.
and Braylon had crack shots, and that's it. Did I miss anything?
No, I know I have it here somewhere. Let's just keep going. I'll pull it up.
Okay, but yeah, although they can work apart, and for me, in my opinion, of course, the best of their abilities come out when they do have some sort of synergy.
Mm-hmm.
even
What?
at the even at the bare minimum.
Mm-hmm.
Like even if it was just as simple as a a Leia, or even a selfless, even putting one selfless on a B
Yeah,
wing already affects the entire list.
and the thing is too that they don't have to be at range one. There's a lot of abilities that are like Leia is 0 to 3, so it's definitely you don't have to be too close to each other.
Oh, and to that effect, the rebels are very new, sorry, new player friendly.
Hmm, for sure, for sure. They, I think, yeah, I was gonna get into that um, at our next topic, but yeah, like they have like their basic X-wing is a great learner ship. You know, actually, I'll go into that later when we talk about the X-wings.
Sure, no
Yeah.
problem. And so, if so, I think we've done a great deal of buffing up the rebel faction. So I think we have them convinced, don't you think?
Oh,
Right, viewers?
I would
Yeah.
for sure Wedge plus three.
But don't, yeah, just don't try. I don't want everyone flying wedges. They could always try something else too.
Yes, yes, yes. No. It's just he's my go-to example for great, efficiently costed ability
Fair
on a
enough.
great chassis.
So, also, so we've already convinced them. Now, what are the ships they need to get started?
Yeah. So, well, since we have sufficiently convinced you to start with Rebels, now your next question is, which ship should I get? So obviously, when you get the core ship, you have an X-wing. That, you know what? I'm not actually sure if that gets you all the X-wing pilots. I think Dane comes in the X-wing
Expansion.
standalone expansion. I think don't quote me, but I feel like there was something, or I may be mistaken. Anyway, so you would start with the X-wings. Any number, whichever pilots, put whatever you like on it. Torpedoes, great abilities. You can put shield upgrade, make it beefier, whatever you like. It's has a lot of mm, equipment slots. Like you can put an astromech on it,
Torpedoes.
modifications, torpedoes, and elite skills. So yeah, ba- like I was saying earlier, probably the best ship to learn the fundamentals of X-wing, the game. It's a good ship. It has three red dice. It's a big gun. It's fast on the dial. It has um, five, six blue moves, and only red moves are the ones that turn it around. And it has 6 health, and it has all the basic actions you need: target lock, focus, barrel roll, and a linked action into the boost. And the S foils upgrade actually teaches you, habits on triggers. So that's nice. Yeah,
True.
it's a good learnership.
But don't think that this X-Wing is just because it's a beginner ship, is that there's no mastery involved in using this ship. As we mentioned, this already is included in a lot of meta lists right now. So the ceiling or the potential of the X-Wing is quite high as well once you learn to master its unique abilities.
Yes, for sure. And how it ends up flying. That link boost, uh, it's a nice trick every now and then. So yeah, you have different. You were mentioning different pilots, different abilities. You have Luke. He's a good tank. Wedge, we've talked about him so much. Biggs, who protects you. He's selfless on an X-wing, but better
Yeah,
because
better.
he gets normal damage too. You're saying?
And yeah, and Garvin also
Yeah, guard.
inject.
Jack, who does no stress. Garvin passes focus.
We don't even have the full list of X-Wings here. I missed
Oh,
out on the Sauce Renegades X-Wings.
yes. And Thane, who let me just reiterate. Thane allows you to look at damage cards and flip it over in exchange for a focus or a blank when you attack. It's ridiculous.
Yeah, so basically
I've
throwing
had
away
people,
something you don't want for something you do want.
yeah, I've had people ask me when I did that. Like, wait, what? You can do that? You choose? you don't just you don't just get a random one. So yeah, it's pretty good. Uh,
And also, let's not forget the other Sauce Renegades. We have Bentic. Sorry, no,
Ed-
what? Sorry, Edric.
Edrio.
Edrio 2 tubes, yes.
Yes.
And he gets a free action if he
Mhm.
starts out focused.
Mhm. Yes.
And we have the other guy, Colby.
Yeah, Kobe Sperado,
Yes.
who can shift his S foils on the fly. Uh, he doesn't need to wait until the beginning of the turn.
No, I mean,
Yeah, that's
he has
him,
to
right?
yeah, he has to activate. Doesn't he have to activate first?
No.
The card says that he can flip once he does a boost or a barrel roll function.
Oh,
Action.
okay. No, my bad. I was
So
thinking that
basically, he can do both. He can
Yeah.
he can
essentially.
have two flips in a
Yes.
turn.
Yeah, that's right. He is 46 points for a 4. So, again, he's fun. He's fun to use. So that's the thing. Like, you have effective, you have fun on the X-Wing. So there's lots of different things you can do. And if you want to branch out more, just grab a Y-Wing. Y-Wing is a great third ship, fourth ship. Um, Nora is good. Yeah, go ahead.
Definitely, the Y-wing is what we call the workhorse of the rebel faction. It's like it can fit many hats. What you need it to be a torpedo, a turret, or
Mhm.
a bomber. It
Okay,
can
I
do
guess
all those things.
so. I was gonna say that's the X-wing for me, but I see what you're saying. There is a lot more um, variety in terms of what the Y-wing can do.
Yeah, so let's say your X-wing, in terms of your gun, it's like your assault rifle. It's the one most commonly used,
Hmm.
right? But your Y-wing is the one that you can change into a sniper rifle, change into a pistol, change into a kind of thing.
Yeah, or yeah, basically, Nora is. Yeah, now that I think about it. Yeah, Nora is a great get up in your face. Let's fight. Horton 2, Dutch is more of torpedo boat. Let's help each other. Yeah. And then bombs. They can put
Evan
bombs.
can also is a support ship
Support
that
ship,
helps.
yeah. Um, they
And
can
they're
also
pretty
carry an
cheap.
astromech.
Yeah, they can. And the cheapest Y-wing is only 32 points.
Yeah, that was also nerfed. Well, at one point, you could take 5 doubles.
Yeah,
Double
I think
tapping,
before before the points change. I'm not sure now, because a turret now is like 4 points plus a gunner 12,
Yeah.
so it might only carry 4. I think now.
Yeah, 5 double tapping Y wings. That sounds very scary to face. I've never faced, but yeah. So yeah, that's the Y wings, and the U wing is a little harder to come around. It has there's 2.0 version of the U wing, but uh, its release was toward the tail end of 1.0, so it was kind of like a hybrid product. It had 1.0 and 2.0 pieces.
Yeah, but it's coming out for 2.0 next wave.
Oh well, there you go. There you go.
There you go. But of course, you'll only get Saw's U-wing parts there, though.
Okay. Okay.
So sorry, the ones that are pictured here are from the conversion kit, meant to be
Okay.
from the original U-wing expansion, which they haven't come out with yet.
Okay. But
So-
yeah, it's not readily available in stores, but a lot of people played Rebels, and I'm sure there's a lot of this on the secondary market.
Definitely, yes. And actually, for me, the conversion kit is still the cheapest way to complete the rebels,
Yeah.
since instead of buying them individually, the conversion kit already contains everything
Okay.
you might need, and I'm sure you can get a lot of the ships on the secondary market.
Yeah. True. True. In terms of ease of getting into it, I would recommend getting a corset uh, and an X-wing, or no. A corset, an X-wing, and a Y-wing, or two corsets and a Y-wing. That's what I would do. For if I just wanted a no hassle point of entry.
Fair enough, fair
Um,
enough.
Although why did I even mention U-wings? So U-wings, great support ship. They have an ability where they can stop and then turn. So unheard of in a
So,
game
yeah,
where you have to.
in this game wherein support ships are usually low attack dice, very easy to kill.
Yeah,
The U-Wing is like the paradox of that,
it
wherein it's a
is.
support ship that can kill you and it's super tanky, and
It can.
it carries all this good stuff because it has crew slots as well.
Yes, it has two crew slots, has three attack dice, two defense dice with 8 health. That's pretty beefy. And they just disrupt your opponent. You just fly them in there and then let them stay there for 2 turns. You can stay there for 2 turns if you have Leia, and of course, if you have a U-wing, you're running Leia.
And let's not forget that their abilities are passively good, that there's little to no drawbacks. Of
Hmm.
course, I didn't capture everything here, but even the
Yeah,
ones here that we can see are already good because, like I said, they'll give you something for nothing.
yeah. So Cassian takes away a stress from a friendly ship at range 1 to 3, so very flexible. And body rope gives you target lock,
You can,
right?
yeah,
You can target
as
lock
long
2 hit.
as any ship is within 0 to 3 of your opponent, you can
Yes,
target lock that ship.
yes, pretty awesome. Hef is you can do an action
Yes,
when
if
go ahead.
so, he's essentially a blocker that if anyone hits him, he
Yeah.
gets to do an action for free.
And people will hit your U-wing. It's a medium base ship. Hmm. Good dial too. Uh,
Yeah,
doesn't
decent
doesn't
dial.
have any doesn't
I,
have any reds except for
I think
that.
the
Yeah.
for the dial, the all the ones and the twos except for the turns are blue,
Hmm.
so
I
no
think the
problem
three-turn.
clearing stress there.
Yeah, it's a good um it's a good support ship. Honestly, it's yeah. That's really all I have to say. It's a good
Yeah.
ship ship. So yeah,
So,
those are the 3 ships I would recommend. And you really can't go wrong with 4 X-wings, 3 or 4 X-wings. So if you want to go with that, that's fine too.
and yeah, no matter whatever combination you can do with these three ships, they'll they could possibly still be meta viable.
Yep. All right.
Okay, so that's it for the rebels. I think we've covered everything.
Yeah. Yeah, we've definitely covered a good intro, man. I would be sold.
Yeah, definitely. I think that's the goal. Otherwise, what am I doing here?
Yeah, for real. So yeah,
But
thanks Raymond for having me.
yes. So thank you, Pete, for stopping by and doing this podcast with us.
Cool. This is great.
And for our listeners out there, we'll be doing more of these in the upcoming weeks. If you like what you hear, please like and subscribe to our channel.
Yep. I have.
And so that's it for this episode. This is Raymond and with Pete.
Hey, thanks guys. See you
Thanks
on the
for
tables.
stopping by.
See your X-wings on the tables.
And have a good night.
All right, bye.
Bye.